Hey everybody, happy Friday. I hope you guys had a good week. If not, just know that this week will pass like every other, and hopefully next week will be better. Okay, so I'm back. Please be sure before I forget. Thank you to all of you once again who have subscribed, who have liked the video. Thank you so much. And if you're watching this, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. All right, so we're back for another review of Love After Lockup, Season 5, Episode 5. Rome's Not Where the Heart Is. I'm going to start with the least eventful scenario, okay? Renika and Asante. First of all, WeTV, you can kiss my ass for ending this episode like this. Because we done spent too much time with this bullshit and not getting nothing out of nothing out of nothing. Okay, we know this ain't gonna ever be a relationship, but damn, get to it. So Renika's dumbass hasn't seen her kids in we don't know how long, okay? But she's with a PI looking for a ninja that don't even want her. I'm gonna need you to stop being so goddamn stupid. Anyway, fuck him. Okay, so you should be looking for a job, darling. Okay, or looking for the highway back to Louisville. Whatever it is, get it done. Okay, get it done because we're tired of seeing this train wreck. CPS, and I don't like to call it CPS like that, but I'm just saying this is looking real a mess, a mess. So then they pull up to the place where he's at. Her ghetto ass is talking about how she's afraid she's gonna act a fool because she doesn't want it to be true that he's actually with another woman. But she wants to ask him if he still loves her. baby, baby, does he love you? He left you. See, Renika, this is why I've been not rocking with you, but goddamn, this is on tape now. So anyway, I was like, bitch, he fucked you and literally ran to somebody else, snuck out the house, and you ain't seen him since. In your BRB or whatever the hell it is, Verbo, whatever the hell it is. So he's been ignoring your calls. How much evidence do you need? You are setting a terrible example for your daughters, like terrible. Okay, seriously, this is some bullshit. So the PI doesn't call himself an investigator. Instead, he walks into this hotel and misrepresents himself as a private detective. To me, detective and investigator sound a little bit different, but whatever. So then he asks the front desk if they have an Asante, whatever his last name is. And just a reminder, I'm only commenting on what I see. May he rest in peace, okay? So you know they can't give out that kind of information. You know they can't. Okay? So while he's inside trying to get this information, she's outside in the car and talks to her kids on FaceTime. And so she's telling them to get ready for school. And I'm like, first of all, baby, you should be home with them, helping them get ready to do whatever. To do whatever. Because you are being hella irresponsible right now. And so they asked, well, what's going on with you and Asante? See, that's how I know. These girls know there's some bullshit, right? They know more than their mama knows about this sorry motherfucker. They already told you they're not even comfortable with him coming in. Anyway, so she tells her kids that he took off and she hasn't seen him. And her daughter, when they started laughing at her, I died. I was like, Renika, that is all the wake up call you need. Okay? Count your blessings, cut your losses. Okay? And that needs to be advice for everybody on this show. Anyway, meanwhile, the PI is trying to dupe the front desk into finding Asante, and guess what? He does. Then he's dumb enough to tell him if there is somebody like that, they will be in room 403. Bruh, that hotel is gonna fire you because I can guarantee you. First of all, wherever you work, the fact that they even had microphones to hear what the private investigator is saying, trust and believe that hotel has enough footage. And just because they blurred out your face, trust me, they know who's on staff. You's a dummy. You's a messy dummy. Because I think you wanted something to go down. You was tired of your evening being boring. Anyway, so he gets back in the car and he asked Renika if she wants him to go with her. or by herself. And I think that was a nice gesture because you don't never know what can happen. But she's gonna go by herself. She's cursing loudly to herself or to the mics, okay? And going up to the hotel room. Look, we want to see this interaction. Don't give us no more teasers, okay? I don't know why she needs this. You know that hotel room is in what's the name's name? The chick that wasn't dumb enough to waste her time on it. Anyway, all right. So Andy and Brittany. Oh my gosh, can y'all stop abusing us with this bullshit? This relationship isn't going anywhere. I'm over it. I'm done. Please just stop. Just enough of it already, okay? Or Andy and Brittany, just quit filming, okay? Anyway, so excuse me. Haven't had a nap today. All right, so Andy comes to the room, and Brittany came back to the hotel room because last week she ran off with Gracie. So she said her and Gracie had a talk, even though she took a bag. And what I'm thinking is her and Gracie got into it. And maybe Gracie brought her ass back. Because you don't leave with a bag because you just going to talk to your daughter. And why didn't you tell Andy that? I don't care if you didn't like the way he reacted. You would have told him that. See, that's the bullshit, Brittany. I don't fuck with you at all. All right, so then Andy was like, are you feeling better? Now that she's feeling a little bit better. Like, that girl ain't feeling a little bit better. I can tell you that right now. So she started saying, well, look, the way you handle things was not manly. Then Brittany said, look, I'm going to need a few days to work things out with Gracie. And I'm thinking to myself, bitch, I know you ain't expecting nobody to keep you up in this hotel. Andy, I told you last week, take your ass downstairs and say, I'm checking out. There's somebody still upstairs. They can pay for this room, not me. Okay, that's what was going through my mind. It sounds like Gracie went the fuck off on her mother, okay, who was in and out of her life, left her to really raise her siblings, okay, because of crime and her selfishness. All right? So whatever Gracie is going through, Brittany, bitch, you are the bedrock of that girl's problems. When that girl had to explain to you why she wanted to be around you and you were like, don't follow me and all this shit, you are a bitch straight out of prison. People like you ain't shit. Okay, I ain't forgot that. All right, so then she is talking about how Andy doesn't realize that her kids come first. No, they don't, Brittany. No, they don't. And I'm not saying that because she has an addiction. Because drug addiction is a disease. Okay, so I'm not sitting here like I'm being insensitive. However, I'm saying that because of her narcissistic behavior, and if her kids came first, she wouldn't have been telling her oldest daughter not to follow her around. How come you didn't do this for your brother, this, that, and the other? No, bitch, that's your job as a mother. And then you bring some stranger and his son. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, so eventually Brittany gets to his house in Rome, Georgia. Whatever. So she couldn't be less enthusiastic about Andy. He gives her the tour. She looks like she's laughing at his stuff and his washer and dryer. When this bitch basically has no place to live without Andy. I just want y'all to let that sink in. Now, I'm not sitting up here just because I have some need to defend Andy's dumb ass, because that's not what I am doing. What I am doing is going in on Brittany, because I don't like her. I don't like that bitch. I don't like the way she treated her daughter. And let me stay focused. Okay, so, like, how dare you walk in someplace and then act like that? Bitch, you've been in jail. Anything should be a step up. Andy is delusional. She doesn't want you. You should have left her dumb ass when she told you couldn't come inside her son's party. That's what the fuck you should have done. I told you, go get something to eat, take your son, and then talk to him back like, hey, daddy made a big mistake and I fucked up and I'm sorry. Okay, and then call your daughters and apologize to them for all the years you failed them too. Anyway, so he tries to show her some support. He says, hey, this is our bedroom, whatever. Okay, let's not act like Brittany wasn't giving him the idea that they were in a relationship. Now, should he respect her wishes because she asked to be in the guest room, and he has one? Whatever. I understand all of that and why Brittany doesn't want to sleep in the same room as him, but she also doesn't want to sleep in the same room as him because she's not attracted to him. She doesn't want to have sex with him. She doesn't want to touch him. Woman to woman, I can feel that. Anyway, so he tries to support her. She doesn't want to be in the same room. She doesn't like him. And what irks me about Brittany is the way she makes everything about her. Everything. She starts talking about herself, what she likes, what she's going through constantly. Da, 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 and I have to deal with this, and this is a lot for me, for me, for me. I'm sick of it. When I say a narcissistic behavior that I see, I resent it so much. And it's damaging. It's damaging to kids, and it's damaging to people around you. Anyway, so Barry asked to go to his friend's house. He was like, so you guys can have some alone time. She seems relieved to see Barry. I feel like because she feels like if Barry shows up, she doesn't have to be affectionate to his father because she's respecting boundaries. No, girl. I'm going to tell you right now, Barry saying he going to his friend's house, he really going to his sister's house so he can talk shit about his dad. And don't y'all be fool enough to think he about to do anything else. Anyway, and he could just be uncomfortable that bitch is there in their house, although he's very polite. And his father is teaching him essentially how to be a sucker. All right, so she has a headache and wants water. I don't care. We don't care, Brittany. Why'd y'all even show us that part? Bitch, you want to do something for a headache, or are you looking for something else? Just asking. All right. I don't feel sorry for Brittany, and I think there's a reason why her family were willing to help take care of her kids and won't let her stay with them. I know they have their father, but the whole family was at the party because she was talking about how they was giving her the eye and all this other shit. Brittany, if you want to stay in the guest room because you don't know who he is, why did you parole to this motherfucker? You couldn't find a friend, a homie, a cousin who don't fuck with the other family either but will let you stay with them? You couldn't even lie and scam and scheme your way back into your family's heart? Damn, bitch. Because you looking just as bad right now. You's a dumbass. Okay? So, they're boring. They're boring. And their scenes are cringy. Because Andy wants her really bad and she doesn't want him. And baby girl, I'm not sure why you think you're the cat's meow, but for some reason you do. And once again, it's that narcissistic behavior. Andy is stuck on stupid with Gorilla Glue, and that's all I can give it. All right, so Melissa and Louie. Melissa, I'm going to be honest with you, honey. I like Louie a whole lot more than I like you. Now, typically, I spend these times, or these couples, trying to have, some compassion for people that get hung up. But you are so stuck in high school. This shit is pathetic. So, Louis comes out of the parole office. He can't move to New Jersey with the right paperwork. About 45 days or so, which to me was shocking. I actually said, that's quick. So he said the parole officer said it's better to go to a family member's address. And, you know, they used to live in Jersey, but it seems like it's just kind of him and his mom. Just in terms of his, family circle or whatever. So Melissa said, well, if we were married, could you come? He said, well, the parole officer looked at him and pointed at his wedding finger like, if you want to do that, that's what you need to do. It'll be easier for you, right? So Melissa was like, it's settled. And Donna says, wait a minute, sunshine. It doesn't happen like that fast. Donna is such a bitch. Walking around in that yellow and red house dress. I can't. Donna, you a mess. Okay, he asked her, she's like the white Miss Wanda. He asked her if she wanted to see the papers. And she said, you could take those papers and shove it up your ass. Then she goes, I'm going home to cook. Are you coming? And he was like, yeah, but we're going on a date tonight. She was like, you can take that date and shove it up your ass. And she still had that with his and her hand. I'm like, girl, if you don't go somewhere and stir a pot, it just be done. Damn. All right, she gonna get her pressure up. Keep playing like that. All right, it's enough stress in this world. You ain't got to go create none. Anyway, so Louis starts talking about being married, but Louis was like, at the end of the day, I like Melissa a lot and everything. He was like, but our relationship is really based on phone conversations. And I was like, Louis, boo-boo, I'm glad you realized that that's all y'all's relationship is built on. Okay? And getting married is a big step. You don't even know if you're going to like her. Hell, after this little cha-cha date. Anyway, so this is dumb. Melissa, you would marry your boyfriend so you can have a live-in boyfriend that's only technically your husband on paper, but not really your husband. That's some dumb shit. Okay? You don't even know what kind of job he can get yet. Anyway, so Melissa and Louis go out on a date. And he was talking about how it was his first date in years. His mother is in the room while he's getting dressed, which is not unusual for families to like. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying because of Donna's behavior, that's why I find it like. Anyway, so Melissa's getting dressed, and then she calls and says, "Louis, will you help me?" Now, granted, everybody needs help once in a while with the zipper, particularly if you have short arms like me. Okay. However, that could have been a dig at Donna, and it shouldn't have been. Excuse me, I haven't had a nap today. I got home from school, and I had some stuff to handle. I did laundry. Anyway, and the mother was like, "You think your dress is short enough?" First of all, that dress, as much as I talk about Melissa, that dress was bad. That dress was cute. That black worked on her. And Melissa was like, "This is our prom," and then she goes on this diatribe in the confessional about how she always wanted to go to prom with Louis, but he was the most popular guy in high school, so he went with the most popular girl in high school, and I was a sophomore. I was like, "Bitch, you were a sophomore when he was a senior, and you up here." Of course you weren't in the running. I'd be concerned. I was always concerned about juniors and seniors dating freshmen. I still thought that was weird. Now, I don't think 4 years apart, once you pass the age of 30, is strange. But I am saying, I'm looking at people like, anyway. So the mother was like, "Well, I remember his prom date." And then she asked, "Well, who did he go with?" And she looked like mad. I'm just like, Melissa, your obsession with high school is disturbing. Dis-fucking-turbing. Okay. Anyway, then his mother goes, "Well, she is now a very smart pediatrician." And she was like, "Oh, well, good for Kelly." Bitch, first of all, Donna, you strike me as somebody you wouldn't like who he was with no matter what. And maybe I'm sure she is a pediatrician, but you think she checking for Louis? Right, so cut it out. Anyway, Melissa, your obsession with high school is giving really a state of arrested development. And I'm going to need whatever that is, you to go and talk to a professional. Because I don't think you realize how absurd it is. Which if y'all had kids, I can see you projecting all of that onto your daughter. Bitch, don't pull it. All right, something wrong with you. So then they get to this dance today, and Louis was like, "I'm not obsessed, but I like to dance." Fine, good. He's at a person, he has something that he likes, okay? The person that's doing it, Melissa claims is about 20. She does look about 20. Maybe even 19, but whatever. According to Melissa. And Melissa gets jealous of the girl before she even knows her. Or this is just like one of those dance dates. It can't be more than like an hour or 90 minutes. It really can't. Okay? So she didn't like the fact that the instructor was telling Melissa how to dance, even though it's a dance class with a hired instructor. Melissa, you didn't like that girl when you saw her in a black dress and saw that she was in her 20s. Like, girl, how are you this jealous with somebody who just got out of jail? And Louis an okay looking guy, but something about around his mouth, you can kind of tell that he may have been using. It's not overwhelmingly obvious, but I think you need to chill out because I don't think he's everybody's type. So, mind you, this bitch, and I'm talking about Melissa, has on a corsage. Like, she's at prom, and I'm like, oh my gosh. You keep getting worse and worse, all right? Then she starts nagging Louis about how he's a perfect dancer with the instructor, but not with her. And he was like, well, she's the instructor. Of course she knows what to do. She knows how to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, turn people or whatever. Like, girl, that chick is there to collect her check. Ain't nobody checking for him. And girl, bye. And even if she was flirting with your recently released boo, it doesn't matter because regardless, you see what you want to see. And that's the way you behave. And I'm over it. All right. I think I'm going to say them. So, Joy Nomi and Red. Now, this was quite the to-do this episode. This was kind of a pleasant surprise of interest for me. So, Joy Nomi got to St. Louis. She was at the hotel. And then she leaves the hotel to go and meet Red's family. All right? So, the mother actually really embraced Joy Nomi and just started crying. And I just thought that was really nice of her. She didn't, give her the third degree. She showed her around the house. She was very kind. She said they had talked on the phone or whatever. But I like a mother who raises her child, does the best she knows how, and doesn't go around taking it out on the women that come into his life. And that takes a level of maturity. That also takes a deep level of confidence in oneself about who you are and what you do. And Donna could learn a lot from her. Okay? So her mother said, I felt the love when I hugged her or whatever. So the mother talks about, basically how smart Red was when he was in school. She was like, he graduated early. And she said, I really didn't have any problems with him doing anything until he hit 12th grade. And it seemed like it was, she said, because of the kind of kids he was around. She said, I didn't like him. And a mother has deep intuition. I'm a teacher. I can tell you, if I've seen that happen once, I've seen it 1,000 times. You can see the smartest kid, the most focused kid, private or public school, it does not matter. That shit will turn somebody out. And I think it's rooted in a lot of things. A lot of insecurities, wanting to fit in. And this is not even a race thing. I have seen it 1,000 times. Who your kid is around impacts who they become. Just so you know. All right? Yeah. So, she's basically just giving the background. And the mother was so honest. And was very emotional. You can tell she's been through a lot. But I appreciated her transparency about it. The mother was like, look, I'm just telling you, this is going to be a roller coaster. None of this stuff is going to be fixed overnight. And she was like, are you ready to deal with that? And by the time she got to that question, to me, none of that seemed like an attack, like when Donna was doing that. Because the mother was transparent. She was honest. She told her what she needed to know. And now she's asking a serious question because at the end of the day, it's to her son, but her son is a grown man. And she understands that. Okay? And then she said, look, this is going to take a while. She said, you have to be ready. And she said, and I'm not just saying you, he has to be ready too. And when they showed her in her interview or confessional, she was like, look, this is a grown woman. He doesn't know her. He, what's he going to do? Marry her? She said, and then he can't just simply marry her. He has to be a father to this kid. He has to be ready too. And I think that was a good way to look at it. She's not acting like her son doesn't have any responsibility. And I think that people who have parents like that, who hold them responsible, love them but hold them responsible, are so much better off than these people who make excuses for their kid all the time and don't make them do any work. It's the teacher's fault. It's the teacher's fault. It's the teacher's fault. It's the teacher's fault. And then somehow these kids get to 12th grade and you want them to go to Princeton, Harvard. And then if they don't get in, it's the teacher who wrote the recommendation, which you don't get paid for. It's the college counseling office. It's everybody but you and that child. And that's why we got so many crazies out here. Okay? But that's just me. By the way, this show needs a reunion. Wouldn't you love to see how this... Ain't nobody gonna look at my YouTube channel and hear this, but y'all need a reunion. Okay? So Destiny, Red's sister, comes by the house. Her and Joy Nomi have been talking over social media. And I wanted to go, Joy Nomi, you should have done the phone like you did with the mama. Okay? And Joy Nomi purchased a car for Red. Now, she bought it from his sister, as a used car, whatever, for about $7,000. Why does he need a car? How long will it take him to get a license? Because when you go to jail, Joy Nomi, your license becomes null and void. You do realize that, right? Okay, maybe you don't. Okay? So I'm sitting up here like, you went and sold your grandma's jewelry for a plane ticket because you spent $7,000 on a car for this motherfucker? Girl, bye. Anyway, so they get in the car and Destiny starts questioning her about, she was like, well, I looked through some of your pictures and the baby bump. You want to explain that? And then the sister said, look, I cheated, I made a mistake. And the thing is, she had told Red, as far as I'm concerned, this don't count as cheating. It doesn't. It doesn't. They weren't married nor in a relationship when they began this prison back and forth. Fuck you. Anyway, So Joe Normie asked, well, look, I've tried to do everything so far. I tried to do everything for him. Like, all I did was cheat. Now, Joy Normie, that's where you lost me, because even though I don't technically consider this cheating, but that's just me, you still call it cheating. But you can't say all I did was cheat like it's no big deal. Because that's some shit a man would say. And the sister was like, do you have that all out of your system, this, that, and the other? So she said, look, I've tried to do everything for him. I bought him a car. And hell, we know she done send him money. This, that, and the other. To the point where she don't have none hardly for herself. And therefore her son. Joy Normie, your priorities are out of whack, darling. I think you want to be loved very badly. But you fucking up. You fucking up. Your priorities are out of whack. And then she goes, I bought him a car. What has he done for me? She was like, well, he calls you all the time. Bitch, that is not the same thing. Okay? Number one, the car she paid for with her hard-earned money. Okay? It ain't like she making millions of dollars. But she's finding time to send him all this money, this, that, and the other. And she was like, what has he done for me? That is a legitimate question. But Joy Normie, that's a question I wish you would have just asked yourself while you were still in New Mexico, before you sold your family heirlooms, left your son at his grandparents' house to go and get a motherfucker you ain't never seen in real life. Okay? So that's on that. Okay? Anyway. So then she gets out the car crying. I think she feels a lot of guilt for it. Whatever. And Destiny follows her into the house and brings up the fact that she cheated more than once. And so she goes, yeah, I cheated 3 times. That we know of. Okay. So the mother was like, look. She said, well, how do you know? She said, well, he told me. She said, well, at the end of the day, we don't have anything to do with this. I said, yes, mama, yes. Because there is shit that you learn in life. Some shit is not your battle. Certainly not with your 30-year-old son. Period. Okay? That's between her and him. And when she said that's between her and him, it is. When the mother asked, well, no. So the mother just hugged Joy Normie and said, well, I love you. And then Destiny goes, Mama, do you have your bags packed? She said, yes. And I think that was such a mature way of handling it. It's not that she doesn't love her daughter. It's not that she doesn't care about her daughter. But all it is jumping down this girl's throat. All I could think to myself was like, do you want your brother being a parasite on you, Destiny? Because that's what's going to happen. I can tell you that right now. I don't have to know shit about Red, okay? I get it, but Destiny, he can choose not to be in a relationship with her, especially since he's in jail and probably talking to other bitches, okay? Now that I'm thinking about it, this show is actually the original Love is Blind. These people don't really meet each other until they're out anyway, and then it always goes bad for the most part. Just saying. So Mikey and Chelsea. Chelsea has apparently been sick all night. Do y'all really believe Chelsea was sick all night, or she was just kind of doing that because she didn't want to have sex with him? I'm just saying. Anyway, but Mikey's been taking care of her all night, and I think he's very thoughtful. He honestly seems to have a good relationship with his family and really care for. I mean, he learned sign language. You know. He said that he was disappointed at first because they didn't have sex. He said, but then he said that hotel room was a lot bigger than my cell, so I knew to be grateful. And see, this is what I'm talking about. Gratefulness. The Asantes of the world, the, let's see, who else is ungrateful? The Britneys of the world, the Carricks of the world, like, nobody owes you shit. All right, so y'all think Chelsea is faking or on her period or something. Anyway, so it seemed a little convenient, though, didn't it, for her to get sick that night? So my thing is, does he know that she didn't have sex with him because she was sick or because she's celibate? Because she wouldn't have had sex with him either way, according to her. Anyway, she wants Mikey to come to her. Y'all put it down in the comments because I don't know. So Mikey can get an interstate compact. He goes to the PO, finds out, and then he can transfer his parole to Ohio. All right, which is good news for them as a couple. I think he does truly like her. I really do. I'm shocked because the these people are usually crazy and this usually goes left. But I do think he really cares about her. So they meet his sisters to get food. Mikey went and got his sister Amanda so he could basically tell her about him and Chelsea, right? So she said that he has just gotten out. You're just basically, she was saying, you just learned how to live in a free world. You haven't really had time to process mom's death. And she said, I just don't want you to take on too much and get overwhelmed and do something that essentially ends him back up in jail. I think that's a legitimate concern. I do. So he asked his sister, when they get back to the table, his other sister, about how does she feel about him moving possibly to Ohio. And his sister starts to look teary-eyed. You can tell the older sister is the older one because she starts translating. She's teary-eyed. And it's hard for family to lose you at any point in time, jail, prison, anything like that. And particularly family that wants to protect you. And then once you're out, you leave, so it's like you're still gone. And I can imagine. And they seem like they were all pretty close. So he asked it, yeah. So they start talking about marriage. He said, I gave her a promise ring, and it was a promise ring, an engagement ring. And he was like, that's an promise ring. And Chelsea just got kind of embarrassed. So Chelsea did say she's nervous about her father. And he said he's nervous to meet him because he had a picture with a pistol in it. I'm like, yep, he definitely looks like that type. So he should be. People have treated her really bad before this. She's been abused and stuff. She really describes her relationships before this as awful. And to me, it is so low to take somebody with a handicap like deafness and being mute and abuse them. You have to be a sick, fucked up individual. And I really feel sorry for her. I really do. So yes, her father feels a need to protect her from that fuck shit. So the sisters say they didn't see the promise ring coming, but they're like in a interview because he just got out, and they're afraid he's taking on too much. At the end of the day, honestly, they know him better than she does. So I just kind of feel like let the chips fall where they may, because I don't think they're doing it out of some kind of vicious spitefulness or anything. I don't. I think they love their brother and they want him to be okay. All right. Here we go. And I am about to go in. I don't give a fuck. Brittany and Keurig. Keurig, I don't fucking like you. Fuck you. Okay? Let's start out that way. All right. So Brittany said, well, they're at the wrong PO office. She was like, well, this is the one your mom told me. And then he said, I don't care. Just get me there. Just get me there. So then this son of a bitch starts telling her how to drive. Sir, when was the last time you had a license? Did you ever pass your driver's test? Did you ever have a permit? Okay, right. Exactly. Okay? And he complained about her not going fast enough. Only to start talking about, go to your left, go to your right, distracting her and saying, oh, you about to get in an accident, this, that, and the other. Let me tell you something. I would have cursed that motherfucker the fuck out. And that's what those crazy, abusive men do. Especially the women in those situations to get them worked up. And to me, that's where the abusive behavior starts to come into play. Keurig, as far as I'm concerned, that this is not fact, but this is my opinion, watching the show that y'all agreed to be on, is putting out feelers to see what he can get away with before he really goes in on Brittany. Then she gets out the car. Okay, anyway, no, I'm sorry. They make it to the PO's office. He goes in to get his papers, whatever. Then she gets out the car and it's pouring down raining. He called her and said, come get me. You see me standing here. Motherfucker, if you don't run your ass to the car like anybody else who goes in a place dry and then figures out it's raining, you run your ass to the car. Why the fuck? And this is what I'm saying about abusive, sending out these different messages. See, that's how trauma is formed. When you react one way to the same behavior, and then that same behavior, you react a completely different way. Okay? After he gave her the orders to get out of the car, I said, Ninja, you don't even have any hair. Run your ass to the car like anybody else, trying to hold their hands over their head or just running. Okay? Then he's in a confessional talking about, man, she's just getting her pretty little feet dirty. I don't know why she's doing that. Bitch, you asked her to get out the fucking car. We heard it. You knew what kind of shoes she had on. Why the fuck did she need to come and bring you an umbrella for both of y'all to be wet and dirty in that nice car? Brittany, you need to think about that. Shit, I'd be damn if I'd be busting tables to work that hard and then have a car like that for him to come and fuck it up. Anyway, that's another one that should have gotten left at the PO's office. But I guess Brittany is dependent on them for a place to stay. So I guess that wouldn't have been smart. He's on probation until 2060. And I really tried my best to hear 2026, 2016, and my brain immediately said, Salah, that has passed. That's some bullshit. Why don't you just keep somebody locked up? Like, I'm sorry, probation till 2060. Like, give me a break. All right, and they said there's a chance that it might be cut off, but whatever. So the PO didn't bring up anything about them living together. So he was like, we're good. And I was like, but Kira, did you ask? We know you don't listen well, as we saw in this episode. Anyway, so they go to the restaurant to meet Coffee. Okay, Coffee is his mentor and was the wife of his prison mom. I don't know the ins and outs of that, but nevertheless. So she has that little chihuahua in the restaurant. If I saw a dog in a place where I eat, I don't care how little, I don't care how big, I'd have some questions. And I'd turn my ass back out there because I still think that's nasty. I don't give a fuck about how cute. How the fuck you gonna have a dog and then put your hands on food? You know they ain't washing. I know Brittany ain't wash her hands. Anyway, so she asked him, well, what is he gonna do now that he's out? And he said he wants to keep doing his gospel rap. And then apparently the two deluded people at the table like, yes, it's so good. No, it's not. If that is anything like that bullshit we heard a couple of episodes ago, you can keep that, Kira, because you ain't gonna make no money off of that. It was bad. It's not because, you had gospel rap, although I've never been into gospel rap, but your shit was bad. It just wasn't good. Okay? Like, it just was shit. It was dog shit. Okay? Get it? All right. Anyway, so Coffee said, look, because he starts talking about wanting to get the surgery, and Coffee said, just keep working out. You really don't need to get surgery. She was like, it's not that big anyway. So I guess she was saying if you pump yourself up buff enough, it'll look a certain way. In terms of the breast area. And he was like, well, she's just old school. She has a way of seeing it, whatever. Because a lot of times before these surgeries happen, people just kind of took on whatever masculine identity appeared to be at the time. So whatever. So Kirik is talking about Brittany's mother and how she's hard on Brittany, and the problem with people in the church is they worried about what's in the bedroom, this, that, and the other. Then Brittany said, he was like, so what's wrong? She was like, I get what you're saying, but that's still my mom. And my thing is, Kirik, you haven't even met her mother. So to bring that up and then insist you're just stating your opinion is bullshit, because you were getting more and more aggressive every time she tried to take up for her parents. She was like, they didn't grow up in this country. That's something you don't do. Probably heavily Catholic, especially in those Latin American nations, those Central American nations, because that's who colonized them. But I think you're full of shit. I'm sure there was enough transphobia everywhere else you've been. Primarily, you didn't bring your father up at that table. You brought him up in the confessional, but not at that table. And those are still her parents. And if that's what she's saying as your partner, whether you like it or not, shut the fuck up. You gave your opinion, now leave it alone, because she's told you how she felt. And you expect her to respond to your emotions all the time. Now, but when Coffee said, well, look, at the same time, it's a good time to be gay. There are gay t-shirts, gay pride parades, gay laws, all this. She said, when I was growing up, didn't nobody want to be gay. And I was thinking to myself, probably, especially for a black woman. Okay? Y'all remember the woman in, the two women in Bruce, the women on Bruce's Place? And how those black gangsters ganged up on that lesbian when she was walking with her groceries in that back alley? And raped her for essentially not being straight and wanting to force themselves on her to prove, like, you can't take anything from me. And there's a lot of men like that. And I've seen a lot of black men like that. And that's unfortunate. And we know that was made in the 80s, but those stories don't come from nowhere. So I'm sure Coffee has the story. But I do think that it's good that Kirik has a mentor, because we know he needs one bad. But if he accepts Coffee as old school and she's telling him to work out instead of getting the surgery, and says that he basically still cares about her, appreciates Coffee's mentorship, then why are you talking shit about Britney's mother at the table? Because Coffee is not essentially supportive of you getting a surgery. You up here talking about how you forgive people, this, that, and the other. But what you really want to do is start to dig that divide deeper between Brittany and her family so that when you start abusing her, she won't have anybody to run to. I see you, Keurig. I see you. Okay, and I know this is armchair psychology, but I'm making a point. I don't like you. You're controlling. I feel like you are emotionally manipulative. And I feel like it's only a matter of time before you start to get physical. Because everything about you is like you're throwing out feelers to see how she will respond when you try to do certain things so you can see how far you can go. And I don't like that. I don't. Okay? So Keurig and Brittany are talking about a dog, having a dog, and his transitional surgery. So is it me, or does Keurig and lots of people who come out of prison seem to think they know every goddamn thing? He feels like he knows everything. He's always cutting her off to prove he knows something. Motherfucker, if you knew that much, maybe you'd be out of jail before Brittany. Okay, don't pull it. All right? So this ninja didn't even know where his parole office was. But he wants to tell her about what she knows and what she don't know and what she understands and couldn't understand. Now, he made the point about that this is not the same thing as being in a body you simply don't want in terms of weight and things like that. And I know what it is to hate your body. At times, and I've had to work on that. And I'm still on my weight loss journey or whatever. But the fact that that's even necessary for somebody to feel good about themselves is very difficult when we live in a country and a society that hates fat people. And now that I'm reading this book on that, and to realize how closely rooted it is to anti-blackness and anti-black women at that, it's been enlightening for me. It's been enlightening for me. Anyway, but he made his point, okay? But then he carried on. So she wanted to know how much money they were going to have to split for his. She asked how much the transition surgery is going to cost. And she said, because we're going to split this between that and the IVF treatments. And the reason why she's doing this is because Keurig, when he was in jail, insisted on the fact that he had kids that were of him. So Brittany was willing to forgo her DNA just to carry it, to ensure that they're kids. And now this motherfucker is pulling back. So he keeps talking about switching genders. You don't get it. You don't understand. Let me explain something to y'all. Okay? Gender and sex are not the same thing. And people use those interchangeably now because they don't know any better. So allow me. Okay? And you can go back to Let's Talk About Gender, Beverly Guy Shefdahl, and Janetta Beshko. You can go and look it up. All right? Here we go. Sex is the biological category to which you are assigned at birth. Male, female, or intersex, which means you have male and female reproductive organs. Okay? Gender is the behaviors associated with a particular sex. So somebody may change their behavior to try to appear more male or more feminine, wearing dresses versus wearing pants. All the things, right? And he kept going, my gender. And I was like, you don't even know what the fuck you talking about. Now, lots of people don't. Okay, so Keurig not alone in this. But Keurig, I don't like you, so I'm going to go in on you anyway. All right? So you are a transgender, not a transsexual. Because you have yet to have the surgery. Okay, so why are you so busy knowing every goddamn thing? I need you to look this shit the fuck up. All right? But people fuck up the difference all the time, and it irks me. So that's just my little 2 cents. So then he starts getting mad and acting like what is important to her in terms of having children is unacceptable. And then he keeps asking her to be quiet and to drop it. Fuck you, Keurig. You want her to come out of her ass with money for your surgery. That's why she asked how much it costs. You don't have a fucking job. You can't remember where your PO office is. You a low down dirty motherfucker. And I don't like you. You got a lot of work. And no, I don't think y'all need to have children together. I don't think y'all need to be together. Keurig, you don't need to be with nobody. And Brittany has a lot of growing to do, especially too, because I think she's uniquely vulnerable because her self-esteem is low. But the difference is she doesn't go around abusing you. And you ain't shit for that. Um, so basically he lied about wanting kids to keep you around, Brittany. Fuck him. Let him go, girl. Let him go. Anyway, that's all I have for I wanted to say Love and Hip Hop. I don't even know where that came from. Love After Locked Up. Season 5, Episode 5. Rome's not where the heart is. Be sure to like and subscribe. Put your thoughts down in the comments. I'll talk to y'all soon. Y'all have a good weekend. Bye-bye.